Hi, I'm Karen, founder and skipper of Sporting Sheroes, an organisation that helps women in sport raise their profile and develop great sponsorship packages. And this is the Data Talks Sports CDP Crash Course podcast. Data Talks makes it easy for sports organisations to sell more tickets and merchandise and negotiate sponsorship agreements of higher value. Our community, Women in Sport Beyond the Hashtag, is for everyone involved in the women's sports space, and we'd love you to join us, whatever your sport, whatever your level, and whatever your role. So, welcome to my June guest host slot. And whilst, as I record this, we're in the middle of the Men's UEFA European Football Championship, no sooner will the final whistle blow for the final on the 14th of July, then we'll be heading less than 2 weeks later into the Paris 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Now, as with any event, these Olympics, which take place from 26th of July to the 11th of August, and the Paralympics, which are the 28th of August to the 8th of September, will boast a series of firsts alongside a number of areas of highly contested debate. So this month, I'm going to give you a whistle-stop tour of highlights of key conversations taking place on and off the field around this four-yearly event. So, let's kick off with the much heralded and very welcome gender parity aspiration. For the first time, there is a 50-50 allocation to participants in the Games to achieve equal representation for men and for women. Now, to give some historical context, women first competed in the Olympic Games in 1900, also in Paris. And in 1991, the decision was taken that any new sports added to the Games must include women's events. So, all good. In 2024, 28 out of 32 sports will be fully gender equal in Paris, and the schedule for medal events will comprise 152 women's and 157 men's events, plus 20 mixed gender events. To me, this is a key milestone as it pushes countries and federations to invest more in women's sports development and facilities. However, there's a but. Do capacity, available slots, and medals really equal gender parity? There's other factors at play, and whilst this move by the IOC is much welcomed, including by me, there is still some work to do. So I'm going to talk about some of the influencing factors. Let's start with scheduling. Genuine parity demands that women's events are given the same prominence in terms of timing as the men's. This is improving, and one major step forward is that the only track and field event contested on the final day will be the women's marathon, which will conclude right before the closing ceremony. This will be high profile, and this high visibility slot has always traditionally been the preserve of the men. Another factor that affects gender parity is that off the field, only 13% of coaching positions were filled by women at the Tokyo Games, and 33% of women fill positions on the IOC committee. Now, I am all for the best person for the job, but this disparity results in important factors around female sport being dismissed or ignored, and Paris is trying to address some of these. One example is the introduction this year of family provision for athletes. Earlier this year, the French Olympic and Paralympic committees announced that they'll be providing a hotel and shuttle buses for breastfeeding mums in particular, and spaces for infants and caregivers. It was acknowledged that this does help athletes and can contribute positively to their performance. And another facet of this appreciation of family life and its importance to well-being is the growth of inclusion of maternity and parental leave in contracts for athletes, something that's been missing for far too long and is much overdue. Now, here's another hot potato, women's kit, which has been a long-standing debate in the sporting world, ranging from the discomfort women feel when wearing white kit if they have a period, to over-sexualized and revealing outfits. There have been some notable successes on this issue. So if we think a couple of years ago about the Norwegian beach handball team who wore shorts instead of a bikini and were fined for the privilege. Now, the uproar and pressure that ensued from that forced the International Handball Federation to reconsider its rules, and women can now wear a tank top and shorts. In my own sport, women's hockey has traditionally stipulated that women wear a skirt or skort. However, the International Hockey Federation has changed its rules, and players can now choose between a skirt, a skort, or a short. And you might recall there was uproar from athletes and supporters alike when the US track and field uniform was unveiled earlier this year due to the skimpy and high-cut women's leotard. So, the gender parity debate continues, and we will undoubtedly see more of it played out over the months ahead. I thought I'd finish with a couple more firsts that are encouraging, uplifting, and continue to pave the way for the future of Olympic Games. In Tokyo 2020, surfing, skateboarding, and climbing made their debut, partly in a nod to greater inclusion. They will all be making a welcome return this year. I think the surfing is taking place in Tahiti, not down the Seine, in Paris. And another urban sport is set to join them, breaking. So this complex and entertaining street dance or break dance is set to take place in the Place de la Concorde, along with skate, 3x3 basketball, and BMX freestyle. And I think that's going to be a great venue for all of those sports. Finally, as someone who is passionate about helping athletes to fund their sporting endeavours, I have one more first to share. For the first time ever, World Athletics has announced that Olympic gold medal winners are to receive $50,000 in prize money for the 48 athletics events at the Olympics. Medals are glorious. They're wonderful. They're a symbol of achievement, of hard work, of pride, and they may lead to ongoing sponsorship and endorsement deals for the high-profile participants. But let's not forget that in and of themselves, a medal doesn't pay the bills. So this is a welcome starting point on which we can build in other sports going forwards. So that's a wrap. I'm loving the football at the moment, and whilst I'm cheering wildly for my home nation, I always feel a little bereft once it's over. Not this year. We have the fabulous Paris 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games and all the highs and lows that go with them to look forward to over the remainder of the summer. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode and are looking forward to a great summer of sport. If you'd like to connect, I'd love to hear from you. Just message me via Sporting Sheroes on Instagram. So that's a wrap for this month. I'm Karen, the founder and skipper of Sporting Sheroes, guest hosting this podcast for Data Talks. Come and connect with me and the awesome Data Talks team on social media. And don't forget to join our fantastic community, Women in Sport, beyond the hashtag. All the links are in the episode description.